No.
Body language.
Hey guys, Dr. James Jernigan here with Liz Kahn, and we are going to talk about something that is crucial. And before we do it, I want to preface it because Liz and I get along extremely well. Yeah. And we believe and we're congruent in so many things. There are certain things that we say that we actually, our fundamental belief is coming from two different places. Right. And I'm going to tell you that it's not easy, but I love it because it forces you to dive deeper into what your true belief is. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think I do.
Because I came in and I said a blanket statement that to me was a foundational, fundamental belief that I'm pretty good at. And I think that it's pretty easy for me, but Liz doesn't agree with it and she doesn't like it. So, but because we have two different experiences on it, right?
That's true.
And I think that some of it is because of her expertise, she sees it a lot more at the beginning of the awareness of this. And if I will. And 7 years ago, I really started this journey where completely transformed what I do on a consistent basis. That's gotten me to this point right here. Okay. And what had happened was there was a patient. What happened was, I know, I was surprised that I said it normally. But what happened was I was adjusting patients, and I came out to the waiting room, and I saw Sarah, my cousin, office manager, she was cleaning up a mess. And I saw there was orange, like an orange drink had spilled all over the carpet. And we just opened this office about 2 months ago.
I'm like, whoa, have we been here that long?
It's been a long time. No, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Right, so brand new. I did a complete reconstruction of the whole office. And we spent a lot of money, put down new carpet. And my instant thought was, oh my goodness, right? It's like that feeling. And I didn't notice it. It was like, for me, it was like split second. And I'm going to try to, it's got to be a bouncing forward.
I know.
But there's probably like 3 to 5 different things that happened within about a matter of a few seconds.
Well, wait, before you even get into that, because you were about to say it.
Oh.
In an instant, you shifted from this gut-wrenching to, I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
Can I take this from here? Because then he walks into my office and says, I know what we're going to do the video on today. Don't sweat the small stuff. And I
saw your body language.
And I went, really?
Yeah.
And so this is where this comes in. Like, I don't really like it when somebody tells me, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
It's equated to me in my head. It's just like somebody saying, you got to let that go. Okay, how many of you out there
yes, this is crucial.
feel this way? Because there was a very long time where somebody would say that to me and I would say,
just get mad.
Tell me how.
Yeah.
Tell me how. Because if I knew how, I would let it go. Because it doesn't serve me to feel this way. But I don't know how to take that next step to let things go. And so for Dr. James to come in and say, oh, don't sweat the small stuff. Because I could flip so easily. And I went, how? I don't want to go on this video and start telling people not to sweat the small stuff unless we're going to give them actionable steps.
Yeah.
So that, first of all, you can recognize when it's small stuff. First, distinguish small stuff from big stuff. Because when you're in a place that doesn't feel good to begin with, it's hard to see that orange soda was not a big thing.
That's when it magnifies.
Right.
And I think that is one of the most crucial elements, most crucial part of it is the majority of the time when the small stuff really hits you is because you're not in a good place to begin with. And I think that's the first thing for me, right? Because I'm still trying to process, like, what are all the things that I did in that moment to shift, to be able to take the patient back and completely just unconditional love, adjustment, intention, focus on them. And then they walked out and they were smiling, I was smiling, and not, the patient knew that they spilled all over the place. Like, so I don't have to just like bash it into the head, right? And so, but the crazy thing was it was just a pure, like, for me, was just pure, I let it go. Right. And it was amazing. And so
And that's where I come in with, I want to walk through this. And this is what I'd like to spend some of our time doing on our video. So from my analytical perspective, for a man who is able to instantly shift, I want to know how that works.
I would say the first portion is just like what you were saying, is like when it's this, the small stuff is the massive thing in your life is because of the place that you're in when it happens. And I would say the biggest portion would be you got to fight the battle before the battle.
Which is where a lot of this questioning comes in.
And your training is so incredible.
Well, thank you.
Because, and I'm just completely honest, I think it's incredible because looking back when you said, okay, how? And then it's like, whoa, I got to rewind and follow through. And it was like, I asked myself like 2 questions without even going through the question. Mm-hmm. It was just like the intention of the question was enough for me.
But then I started asking you questions that were not questions you were asking yourself, right? What did I ask you? I said, where did you feel it in your body when you first saw the soda tip?
It was right here.
Right.
And it was crazy because I felt it. I was aware of it, which what we've been diving into is just awareness to the point where it becomes second nature a lot of times. And so I felt it, and I didn't even let myself go through that whole deep breath that we talk about. I felt it in my stomach, and it was literally like in a gut, right? Felt it, and within the split second, released it. And in my body, I was consciously aware of where it was to recognize to the releasing that portion.
Yeah, so you changed something in your positioning. And because it becomes automatic, you're able to be like, oh, that felt like a gut punch. Let me shift a little bit. And so the shifting is really important. That awareness, though, and the questioning process that goes, where did I feel it? What did it feel like? Did it feel like a punch? Did it feel like a jab? Each one of those has a very different kind of movement associated with it. You don't even need to really practice these movements. You want to practice your awareness of it. Because in that moment, it is so important. In that moment of seeing the thing, and if you've got kids, you've seen a spill, right? You've seen something that's brand new and expensive break. And what are you going to do? Are you going to let it ruin the rest of your day? Let it impact your physiology? Mm-hmm. These are the things that lead to chronic illness, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So how do we take the best care of ourselves is by being able to see what's happening, feel it in our body, and really use that information. I'm going to say that in a lot of different intonations throughout the year, I'm sure. Just trying to keep your attention.
If we say something 1,000 times, it's probably because it's incredibly important.
It really is. It really is. This notion that the way to let things go, it's not necessarily that you have to break it apart in every little way. You really just have to understand what your body is telling you about it. So if you were angry about the carpet, were you angry about the patient being, not paying attention? What was the thing you were angry about? When the kid breaks the iPhone, or the iPad, the day that we got the screen fixed. I'm actually not upset about it anymore. I like to make it like that, but the initial instinct is disappointment, frustration. Of course anger is going to come into it, but who are we really angry at? Did I actually leave the iPad right there where my 3-year-old at the time could pick it up and accidentally drop it? Yeah. So how do we let go of it when we don't really know necessarily what it is? And at some point we do have to go, either that was me, and I need to find a way, and I, of course, do this with questions, right? Mm-hmm. What is my best path to letting this go so that it doesn't ruin my day? Mm-hmm. How can I rise above this feeling so that I can get a better grip of what's going on? The statement, don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah. Let it go.
Yeah, because that's for me, that's a statement that is, it's like a present, right? You have a present, and the outer side, I think the wrapping would be that statement, but inside it is so...
It's a process.
It's years and years of practicing and doing, and I'm not perfect, obviously. Those days that I prepare for my day we need to talk about morning routine on one video.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Because my morning routine, my constant, I preach to myself every single day, all the time. I'm that crazy person. We're all the crazy people that talk. It's like the crazy person that talks to themselves, right? I think that you're crazy if you're not the one that's intentionally talking to yourself, because those minds, those patterns, right? They're like,
right.
this bad thing happened, and it can just overwhelm you and come into so many. Yeah, you have to take ownership of your thoughts, which you're an expert at. And so, looking back, even again,
Right.
is that instant where I felt it, my mind started racing. I think there might have been like 2 to 3 things that were in the pipeline of coming through my thought process that were negative, and it was that first step, like we talked about the spiral, right? It was that first step, and I didn't even put my foot down, and I was able to catch myself on that first step.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
let's hear it.
You noticed it. And I think it's great that you recognize that that was an opportunity to be proud of yourself. You did something hard.
Yeah.
Interrupting an automatic process, recognizing that you've done something to change, that would have changed the course of your day had you stepped into that spiral.
Absolutely.
It really would have. It would have changed this video. It would have changed a lot of things. And we haven't even mentioned the conditions outside that put everybody in a rough mood. Because we've got, 5 inches of snow out there? So, like, you did something awesome.
Yeah. Because how many times do we don't, right? And then we do get stuck in that trap. And I think that this isn't necessarily a part of the video or our intentions, but it's like it is so critical to surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing in the area that you want to grow. Because we're in the same office. We talk about this stuff nonstop all the time. Like
everyone
we just love it, right? Like we can get distracted for a half hour, an hour talking about this stuff because if that's it,
I know, whatever. We're not going to actually.
That's what I'm telling them.
Right.
That's
what
distracted. No. But it's crucial because then top of mind awareness, being able to have that there at all the time, and then actually understanding the layers of what you do is so much more complex than I'm sure anybody understands.
Thanks.
And
but it's easy to do. It's easy to do.
No, right. Well, but because we say a lot of the tools that you use,
right.
But going deeper into the implementation process and objectively looking at your objectives, right? Being able to track it and stuff, so making the progress, it is a whole process.
There is, and there's a reason that I specialize in thought processes. There is a lot to it. I think it's phenomenal. I've seen a lot of places where it's I don't need a physical trainer, a personal trainer, because I can do those exercises.
Yeah.
But the personal trainer understands why those exercises are important, right? Right. It's important to have somebody who understands the difference. Who are you mad at, really? Reach out, because if you're having trouble with this stuff, I can help you see pretty easily and give you the tools that you need.
I say instantaneous results. I don't know if you like that, but I literally went through one of your classes, and then the next day, I don't know how it was, but it was the next day as I was hitting the alarm, I was asking myself questions, which was no, you go to all these these seminars and you hear all this fluff.
Right.
It really is
all the
fluff,
stuff without action
because it's
steps.
oh man, they're doing so great, but then you're dependent on that person.
Right.
But with Liz, it's just wow, you can actually do them immediately.
Yeah.
So
we're a little bit over. I hope you guys are still with us. Our action step is really about awareness around those little things, the small stuff. It doesn't always feel like small stuff. So maybe the action step is when you start feeling yourself about to explode or feeling that gut punch or that thing, for you to just take a step, take a breath, and say, what is it about this that's bothering me? And if you say that 3 times, what is it about the situation that's bothering me? 3 times. While you're breathing, it's going to change your physiology, because breathing does that. Period. That's the breathing, not the questions. But the questions help you to just focus on that resolution, right? What is it about this that's bothering me, and what can I do to resolve it? And I think you're going to find that your day is going to be phenomenal. You'll be able to not sweat the small stuff and to let things go. Like magic.
Yeah.
Like magic. There's science there.
Absolutely. So there is a lot, and it is deep, but we are a resource for you. We want you to be able to get to the point where you, without even thinking about it, go into the room right after the adjustment, and you're just I guess not the adjustment, but you go right after whatever you're doing and just be don't sweat the small stuff. And it was just such a win. Yeah. And it was an exciting moment. So We
Glad
love
we
you
could
guys.
share that with
yes,
you.
We'll see you tomorrow.